Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on sort of purchasing your first designer handbag. I've been thinking about what kind of videos I wanted to do for this channel, and I thought that this might be a fun one for a few of you guys because a lot of you guys have been asking me what would you recommend for your first designer piece, and I just thought I'll just do a video with my top 5 recommendations of first designer bag purchases and also have some honourable mentions. So I wanted to do 5 because it's a clean number, but you will find that a few of the items I do recommend are from 2 fashion houses that I absolutely adore, and that's Chanel and Louis Vuitton. But I know not everyone wants a Chanel or Louis Vuitton handbag, and so that's what I'm going to include in honourable mentions category. I will preface this video by saying all of these bags that I will be recommending are items that I have owned. So I know there's like 1,000,001 different handbags from different fashion houses, but I wanted to mention the ones that I've had personal experience with so that I can give you a better sort of overview of what I think of the bag and why I would recommend it as your first designer item. I won't be including any contemporary designers here because I've never dealt with any of them, and so I will just mainly be mentioning premium designer brands such as Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Saint Laurent, things like that. I'll just start off the video by mentioning what I'm looking for when I'm looking for my first designer item. I know it was such a struggle when I went into, buying my first designer handbag, but it was good to already have an idea of what I wanted. So for example, I was really set on something from Louis Vuitton because I do love that brand and I think their bags are absolutely iconic. And when you're thinking about purchasing your first designer item, because I'm quite sentimental, when I went into deciding what to get, I knew I wanted to have something that would stay in my collection for a very, very long time. So I do stay away from trendy pieces, mainly because that first designer item is something that I do want to hold on to. So that was my first instinct, to purchase an item from a well-known fashion house, and also to pick a very classic silhouette. And also I wanted the bag to be affordable. Being my first item, I didn't have $5,000, $7,000 to just spend on one thing. So although I wanted a Chanel classic flap, it was just not the right time to purchase for me, especially being the first time I was going to dip my toes into something luxury. So although I wanted to splurge the money, I obviously didn't want to go bankrupt at the end of the day. I also wanted it to be something that was versatile. Depending on how you are, when you buy your first designer bag, you don't sort of go into it thinking, yes, and then I'll buy another one 2 months later. It kind of just takes you by surprise how addictive it is. But certainly when you're buying your first bag, you don't think that you're going to buy another one anytime soon, especially since you're going to be splurging on that one bag. So I knew I wanted to have something that was versatile, that I could wear for several different occasions, and that was functional as well. So I'm definitely more of a big bag kind of girl at the time, so I knew I wanted something a little bit substantial, something that could carry my big giant DSLR camera as well as my spare sweater and things like that. So I knew I wanted a larger bag. Another thing I'm looking for when purchasing my first designer piece is resale value. So I've seen in the comments before, why do you say you want to keep it forever but then think about resale value if you don't plan on reselling? Like anyone, it's always good to have some sort of insurance. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just nice to have peace of mind to know that in the event that you decide that it's not actually working out for you, or a few years down the line you might need that money for something else, or it's just you've grown out of that style despite the best intentions to purchase a classic piece. It's just nice to know that if ever you need to make that decision, that it's easy to sell, or you'll actually get a bit of your money back, because I don't think anyone likes the idea of splurging so much money and then it's kind of gone. It's just always good to know that you can actually get it back in the event that you ever need it. So resale value is a huge decision maker for me, and that's why I stick to Louis Vuitton and Chanel, just because they are really well known, sought after brands that retain their value a lot better than all of the other sort of fashion houses except for Hermes. And it does depend on the bag silhouette that you choose, so just bear that in mind. And the ones that I will be recommending do tend to hold their value more or less, whether it is getting more than half of your money back or being able to sell it for more than you purchased it for. I've mentioned this bag several times, but this was my very first designer handbag, and it was definitely such a memorable moment for me to be able to purchase my first Louis Vuitton handbag. I actually did a lot of research, deciding between the Neverfull and the Speedy, and I did end up purchasing the Speedy just because this bag spoke to me a lot more, because I have always been a huge fan of these duffel type bags, and I've always loved the Speedy silhouette. It was only new at the time that they had the bandolier, but because I'm also a shoulder crossbody girl, this was just a necessity for me after I saw that this was an option. I did end up getting the 30 just because it was the most functional size for me. There was the 25, which was adorable, but again, at the time I thought that I was only going to get one bag. This was the most versatile size in my opinion, and although I did go into the shop wanting the Speedy 30 in the damier bin because that is a more functional print, so it's more weatherproof, it's not as loud, and I do actually love the design itself. It just didn't speak to me when I tried it on because I fell in love with the contrast of the vachetta on the monogram canvas. So I did decide on this Speedy 30 bandolier as my first designer purchase, and I do really recommend it to anyone looking to purchase their first designer bag because it's such an amazing size. You can fit your iPad, you can fit spare shoes, you can fit your giant DSLR camera. It's perfect for every day, for travel, and because of this shoulder strap, you can also use it as a crossbody or as a shoulder bag. I tend to wear it with just the two attachments because I am more on the petite side. Yeah, I just love the size so much because although I do love the 25, this opening is just amazing. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. So yeah guys, this is my first recommendation. Whether you pick the Speedy in the classic or the bandolier, or whether it's 25 or 30 or the monogram and the damier bin, I genuinely think that the Speedy is such a classic and iconic silhouette, and it will never go out of style. Moving on to another consumer favorite is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. This is the MM size and this is the damier bin. I love this bag and I do use it on the daily for work. I'm actually using it right now. It's got a lot of paperwork. The Speedy and the Neverfull are definitely, consumer favorites because of, all of the points they covered, which is price point, functionality, versatility, durability, and also resale value. Do have both the MM and the GM, and that's another point for you to think about when purchasing your first handbag, what size you're after. I did pick the GM initially because for me that had more functionality and versatility in terms of how you can wear it, because you can wear it as a very large tote, and then you can also fold the sides in and make it a bit smaller. But many of the time, a lot of people like the MM just because it is the perfect size for them. It is just the classic tote size where you can fit laptops, books, A4 pieces of paper, but then at the same time, if you do cinch it in, it becomes a much more compact size. Neverfull is a Louis Vuitton classic and a silhouette that will be around for a long time in my opinion, just because you really can't go wrong with such a simple and well constructed bag. They do now come with the pochette inside the bag, which is fantastic because that offers more versatility in that you can actually wear the clutch on its own for going out or a wallet. So yeah, there's a lot of use for this bag and it's definitely up there with one of my favorites. I guess picking between the Speedy and the Neverfull has been an age-old battle, but it's whichever silhouette suits you better. I've never been a tote person and that's why I picked the Speedy because that's my style. That's the kind of bags I prefer, and I've always enjoyed the Speedy bag more. Certainly I've seen all the raving reviews about the Neverfull, so it was definitely a must-have piece for me and would make a fantastic first designer item as well. Moving on to my third recommendation is the Alma BB. Now, if you are looking to purchase your first sort of Louis Vuitton item, but you don't really want to, you know, buy the Neverfull or the Speedy, just because the market is so oversaturated with those type of bags, and you want something a little bit different, one bag that I do recommend is the Alma BB. The Alma is again another classic silhouette from Louis Vuitton. I think this was one of their sort of well-known older bags from, you know, way back when Louis Vuitton started. I believe it was typically created for Chanel, who enjoyed the Alma as a travel piece but then wanted to have a smaller size as a handbag, and that's when Louis Vuitton created the Alma PM for her, I believe. Not 100% sure, but I do love the BB size. It's such a gorgeous size, and I don't actually think it's too small for everyday use. It fits quite a lot in here. I've been able to fit my wallet, a sort of micro four thirds camera, 2 lenses, and also a mini pochette, so it does fit quite a lot. But I do love that it comes with a strap, and you can also wear it as a handheld bag for, you know, date nights or going out. This does come in a variety of sizes, but I think the Alma BB offers more functionality, as I said. But if you do want something that does carry more, there's always the PM as well, which also have the hooks that you can attach a strap that you do have to buy separately, but you can wear it as a crossbody or a shoulder bag typically. This is a great cute little piece that is such great value for money. I think at the moment it's just over $1.5, which is amazing for this piece because it has so much detail in it. It's got so many bits and pieces. So it comes with a padlock, shet that you can hot stamp, and also keys, as well as a strap. So it's a really great piece, and definitely a great first designer bag. If you are looking to purchase your first Louis Vuitton bag, this is a great alternative. This also does come in leathers, including vernis and epi, and I actually do think that the price point on those bags are really good. So this would probably be one of the bags that I do recommend having a look at in the different colors or different leathers, just because sometimes when you're purchasing a canvas bag in a leather texture, the price difference is extortionate, but this one's actually quite reasonable. So this is something you can consider in different finishes as well if you don't like the canvas. But yeah, I love this one. It's an amazing bag. So those are my 3 Louis Vuitton pieces that I do recommend for anyone interested in their first designer item from Louis Vuitton. But I will move on to my next favorite fashion house, which is Chanel. So if you're a Chanel girl at heart, you guys will know the 2 most common Chanel, that is everyone's, you know, first Chanel item, and that is the Chanel mini flap and also the Chanel wallet on chain. These are my next 2 recommendations to complete my top 5 sort of recommendations for your first designer handbag. And just like the battle between the Speedy and the Neverfull, there's always a battle between the Chanel Wok and also the Chanel mini flat bags. Now I do own both, as you can see, because I do think that they are different in their functionality and also just generally their look. So I will start off by talking about the Chanel wallet and chain. So this is technically a wallet or a small leather good that has a chain. However, it is so much more than that, and you can use it for more than just a wallet on a chain. It definitely is a selling point just how much you can fit in here. It's very versatile. You can use it as a small bag, as many people use it. Some people use it as a wallet, which, you know, you can do, but it's quite large for my liking. But also you can use it as a clutch, you know, for going out, as well as a shoulder and crossbody bag. So this small leather good is amazing. It's very versatile, and I do recommend it, especially in the classic design, such as the quilted design with the gold or silver hardware. But they do also come in sort of boy designs and various other seasonal designs. But as your first piece, I would recommend going classic. I guess when you're picking your first bag, you have to think about your lifestyle. What are you interested in purchasing? This item would be for anyone who wants something special in their collection, although they already have, you know, a few go-to bags that are not necessarily designer but are content with, and you just want something that's special and that you can wear, you know, for a variety of occasions, but will not function as an everyday bag. Or alternatively, you can be someone who doesn't carry much, so maybe this is exactly what you're looking for. Something small just to carry your essentials such as your keys, your wallet, and then, you know, a lip gloss here and there if you need it. So I do really enjoy this bag because of the versatility. This does retail for $2,800 or nearly 3,000 Australian dollars. So it is quite a hefty price point for technically what is a wallet on a chain. A lot of people argue that if you're going to put that much down on a wallet on chain, that you might as well put an extra $1,000 for this handbag. Both of these, regardless, not even close to the same price point as the classic flap, and that is why I do recommend these two as your first, you know, designer bag or as a starter piece going into Chanel. If you do want the look of a classic Chanel flap, this is my recommendation, and that is a Chanel mini flap, whether it's in the square or the rectangular. The rectangular does look more typically like a Chanel classic flap, but I do enjoy the square for myself because of the shorter chain strap and because I just think that square look is just stunning and gorgeous. Now, this currently retails for 3,800 Australian dollars or nearly $4,000, but that's not even, you know, close to how much Chanel classic flaps retail for, which is around $7,000 to $8,000. So this is still a lot cheaper compared to the Chanel classic flaps. But although this is a small bag, it can certainly fit quite a lot, and I'll put some links in the info bar below to, you know, how much it can actually fit in here. Again, whether this works for you is dependent on your lifestyle. If you don't carry a lot and you just want something that is, you know, stunning and gorgeous as a crossbody bag for, you know, every day or casual days or just for weekends, this is amazing. And I do love this one so much. Obviously this is not going to carry your water bottle and your laptop and things like that, but still worth the money in my opinion. With Chanel, unfortunately, if you want Chanel, that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how much you need to fork out for these bags. There's not a lot of cheaper options, but these are probably the best two in my opinion, unless you have $7,000 and you can afford to buy the classic flap, which is definitely a recommendation as well. But yeah, who has that kind of money for their first designer bag? That comprises of my top 5 recommendations for your first designer handbags. Now I will move on to honorable mentions. Typically these are bags from other fashion houses and also bags that I don't necessarily have but would recommend because of how they look, how functional they seem to be, and also the price point. So first honorable mention, and that is my Saint Laurent YSL monogram tassel chain bag. That is a mouthful, but this bag is amazing. So this is from Saint Laurent, so it is still a premium designer brand, but the reason why it's not necessarily in my top 5 is because resale wise I'm not 100% sure how they go. It's always a bit of a hit and miss with other designer handbags, but I do believe Saint Laurent is quite well known as well. But this is a great first designer handbag, especially if you don't mind so much whether it's Chanel or Louis Vuitton. You just want a designer handbag that's gorgeous, that's functional, and will step up your outfit. YSL is amazing. This features the croc embossed leather with the YSL monogram there, and a tassel detail for the opening. It is a magnetic closure and it features one very large compartment. It does have this silver strap that you can wear as crossbody or as a shoulder bag, and you can also tuck the chain and wear it as a clutch. I do love this bag, and you guys have seen me rave about this before in my previous videos because it is quite functional. You can fit so much in there, and it's very iconic. It's very classy looking, and I do think that this design will just, you know, will last a long time. Maybe not so much the croc emboss, but that is my choosing. I do find that having the croc embossed leather and the silver hardware just instantly makes this cool and edgy and elevates any sort of boring outfit. So this is definitely an amazing bag as a first designer piece, especially if you are in the market to purchase more, you know, eye-catching bags. I do think that this is very durable. It's one of those bags that you can just chuck anything in there and not worry about it. The leather is really hard wearing because it is the croc emboss, but obviously that will depend on the different sort of types of leather that you purchase. I do think the price point on this is actually quite good as well, and that's why I'm featuring it as a recommendation, because initially when I first purchased it, it was $2,800 and in store it was like $3,000, so quite a lot of money certainly. But on researching this lately, I did find that it was retailing for 2,400 Australian dollars off of the website, so that is a fantastic price point in my opinion for this size bag, and you know, being an all leather piece and also from a very well known fashion house. So yeah, this is my first honourable mention. Moving on to my next one, and that is my Celine trio. Now if you are typically a minimalist and you want a designer bag for not just the name but also for functionality, and you want a taste of, you know, premium quality bags, I do recommend the Celine trio. I think that this is a fantastic design. So 3-compartment crossbody bags, and it comes in a variety of different colors and finishes. This is in the smooth leather, so this is prone to scratches, but it also now comes in, you know, the drummed leather, I believe, which is a lot more durable. Now the reason I mention this is because it is very, very versatile. It's a great size for a small crossbody bag, and if you buy it in a black or, you know, a neutral color, certainly will be more versatile with different outfits. But not only can you wear it as a crossbody or as a shoulder bag, you can also separate the pouches and wear it as a small clutch, which is amazing for, like, you know, going out for dinners, or you can even use the pouches separately as, you know, makeup pouches in your bags. It's completely up to you. But yeah, I do like this option. I think that you do get a lot of value for your money, and the leather on this is so supple and divine. Absolutely love it. Celine is a premium brand, but the resale value on Celine isn't as amazing, so that's why again it's an honourable mention rather than a recommendation, because I did purchase this secondhand and I probably purchased it for half of what the resale is at the moment. But I do think that is because it is in a very, very bright color. Not a lot of people want a bright color, so maybe something to take into consideration when purchasing this bag. Maybe get it in a black or something like that, something more neutral if you are interested. Now a few other bags that I do want to mention but I don't own is the Chloe Faye, and this is in the medium. I absolutely adore that bag. So that is what that bag looks like, if you guys have seen it. The reason I do recommend this bag is it is going for a great price point. It is a medium sized bag and it comes with 3 compartments. It's an all leather bag from Chloe, which is another premium designer, but it's retailing for just under 2,000 Australian dollars, and that is from matchesfashion.com, and you can purchase it from, you know, the Chloe website, but it is a lot more. Matches Fashion has it, you know, for the cheapest, which is just under $2,000. But $2,000 is a great price to be paying for an all leather bag, especially from Chloe, and especially in the size that it comes in. So it's not a small crossbody bag like this. It's actually a lot bigger, and you can fit, you know, quite a few things, including water bottles, larger cosmetic bags and things like that, and it does come in a variety of different colors. And lastly, another great first designer bag that I did want to mention is the Gucci Soho Disco. This is a bag from Gucci, and that's what it looks like. I've researched this before, and although it's not on my radar at the moment, the price point is amazing for an all leather crossbody bag, which is $1,300, and the size is also great, because although it is a smaller bag, it fits so much in there, and I've only heard great things about this bag. It also comes in a variety of different colors, so you're spoiled for choice. You can get it in like a pink, a red, a navy, and you can purchase it from a variety of different boutiques and just have a look at which one offers it for the best price. So that's it, guys. That is my top 5 beginner handbags and honorable mentions for anyone looking to purchase their first designer handbag. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give this video a massive thumbs up and comment in the info bar below which was your very first designer handbag, and, you know, do you still have it in your collection? I'd love to know. I personally don't think I could ever sell my Speedy 30 in the monogram, despite owning, you know, the 25 and the 30 in the classic as well. It's just such a sentimental item for me, so I'm very happy that I got it in such a classic bag and silhouette. Certainly if you want me to do a comparison video with any of the bags that I mentioned, so for example a pros and cons between the Speedy and the Neverfull, or you know, the different Neverfull sizes or different Speedy sizes, just let me know and I will go ahead and organize that for you. I will include a playlist in the info bar below, so go check it out if you want to see more. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week or weekend, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.